Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu salam ala Rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Innani u'ti Subhan Watala amtanani wa shukri. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi barakatuh. Lil ikwani fati fi din. Salamu ala mani tabahuda lil ikwani fati fi Afrika, Europa, Asia, wa Caribbean, wa kulli makan. Halim wa salim bikum. Innani uridu an azima adu billah. Okay, my dear brothers and sisters, that's an Arabic language. I was having my desires that I would love to see and want to participate in defeat of the enemies of Allah, who are your enemy as well. And to my phobic community, Anjurama Salam. Okay, my dear brothers and sisters, today we're going to continue on talking about Iran, but we're going to put it in the Islamic context. One of the greatest and most powerful of the concepts that you as a Muslim must master and you must maintain it is the Shahadatain, La ilaha illallah. It takes more than that. Even though it's been hijacked today, where disbelievers are coming to Muslim states and even in their Western confines and trying to redefine that to take you away from Allah and from the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam, and bring you to worshiping them and what they hold. One of the conditions that you always know about a disbeliever, even though he comes here, he's coming from the embassy, he's working, so forth, he portrays himself as a Muslim, he is not a Muslim. Because if you corner him and ask him which of the governance is best, he will tell you the American governance and their system and their criminal justice system is better than that of Sharia law. That where you can get them. If they say no, it's Sharia law, then you ask a question of them, then why are you fighting the Muslims? So he can't win. And under the Waha wa Braha, right here, this here is a major deciding factor on each of our Islam. Just because you go and you put your finger up and you give the Shahadatain does not necessarily mean that you have actually accepted Islam. I'm going to tie this into the concepts with Iran as we go, but I have to give you the basis of this in order for you to understand what it is to be a Muslim and how you can make the differences. This here, we're talking about the disbelievers, we're talking about Iran, and we're talking about the mu'mineen, the believers, and how this affects us. Because today, the Waha wa Baraha has been hijacked. I give you an example of what I'm talking about. You heard me say this. Today I had another counter similar to this. The same disbelievers I'm talking about, they say they're Muslims. They come from the American embassy. They work in the masjids. They're all over the place. They make sure that they go around and to facilitate kufr and shirk among the people. They'll go to the guardians on the street, which you have to may not make sense in the United States or in the Western confines. It's kind of like your, what you call it, neighborhood watch. It's similar to that. And these guardians, they do a good job. They protect neighborhoods. They're not policemen. They go about, they make sure that there's nothing go on, then they make the reports and so forth and so on. But this situation also has been hijacked. You have these disbelievers who say they're Muslims, they'll go to them to have them to go concentrate on people like me. So I walk, like this morning going to get bread, I got an encounter with one of them. He insinuated that the crimes that are being committed in the morning is by me. Now, I'm in a turban, looking the way I look, and in the Daraha, walking about at my age of 70, he's claiming that the initiation of crimes is being initiated by me. So I asked him a question. I didn't get mad with him. I said, okay, if that's the case, but you look at me. Why hasn't anyone come forward to the police investigators and say, this man here is stealing from the people. This man here is robbing the people over here. This man is stealing people's telephones. This man is breaking into people's car. I said, why haven't you made that kind of report and bring them here? How are you going to let me walk around here? But because he's been indoctrinated, because he's weak in Islam, he let the Tubab come to him and lie. Under the Wallah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talked about that in Surah 49:6. You're talking about an evil man come to you with a story against your brother. You don't listen to him and say, okay, yes. That's why these people like the Tubab, talking about from the embassies and so forth like this, who come to, they won't come to the mu'mineen because they know they'll get, they know they'll look at them and say, we know what you are, because they see the evil in their faces. But those who are marginal Muslims, they listen to them. And I'll get more into that. See, and they'll listen to them and then they'll act on it. And he doesn't even realize, because now he's been influenced by the shayatin, the demons. See, so this is, part of what I have to talk this way, because we have this is everywhere. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now, even when I was in Sudan, I saw the same conditions. The Islam is weak now, especially in the Muslim states. This coincides with Iran. You see, Iran has enough muscle to take on the Israel. Does Nigeria have it? No, they don't. Does Burkina Faso have it? No, they don't. None of us possess these type of weaponry and power to take on Israel. Israel can cross into Africa and attack any one of us, and there'll be no response, as you heard me talk about what happened with Sudan. None of us can respond, but we can only respond within Africa to kill other blacks. We got airplanes, we have bombs, we have sophisticated weaponry to kill other people in Africa. But if the Jews or another Tubab nation comes in to attack us, we can't fight back because we are under orders. See, because these orders and these commands and these treaties we know as mithaq are not into the sunnah of the Nabi alayhi salam, which is wallahu wa braha, love for the sake of Allah and hate for the sake of Allah. And that means you love your brother, Muslim aku Muslim, you love him, and you hate and disavow the disbelievers. Meaning, no, not terrorism, no, not killing a disbeliever, no, not mistreating him. You see an old man walking in the street and he falls, and you don't go and ask him if he's a believer or not. You go help him. This is the Islamic way. He has nothing to do with this. You help him. You see an old woman that needs help. She needs her groceries taken to her door. You don't go there and ask her, hey, are you a Muslimah? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? No, you do not have to do any of that. And this Wallah Wabraha deals with the enemy, not with the common person who's a disbeliever. If you look at Surah 60, verse 8, Subhan Watala is giving you guidance in that. He says you treat kindly, even though they're disbelievers. If they treat you kindly, you treat them kindly back. No, you don't go and make all my English in there. Okay, the English. You don't go to do extra things. You keep your healthy distance, because the Nabi alayhi salam said that there should be a campfire in between us, meaning the Muslims over here and the disbelievers are over here. But that does not mean you mistreat. I give you an example of that. The Nabi alayhi salam, he had Jewish businessmen that he dealt with, and he bartered with them. We can barter with anyone, but the enemies of Allah, we have specific instructions even in the Quran. Subhanahu wa ta'ala gave a command to the Prophet Nabi alayhi salam and told him to be kind to the believers, but be harsh against the disbelievers. This is wallahu wa braha. It's been switched, where the enemy Tubab, who works out of enemy, his go to the Muslim states and says, no, you come and worship us. No, you come and talk to us. No, you come and love us. You come and you follow us. The people like Yahya, the people like Sheikh Gumi, all the ulama and the fuqaha and all the students of knowledge, you fight them. And people are doing it. And they reversed it. And so I have to talk to you in this regard. It's going to upset many Muslims today because they'll say, well, you know, I was told this and that. You have to learn your religion and your deen, and you have to. One of the conditions of your shahadatain is knowledge, to gain this knowledge, to protect yourself, protect your way to the hereafter. You cannot protect your way to hereafter acting with any of the disbelieving governments who are fighting Muslims, like Israel or what the Americans. You go follow them, they're going to send you to the fire. They will not send you to Jannah. They're going to send you to the fire. Because when he tells you to go after an old man who's walking to the masjid, what do you think that is? And you die in this state. Here you're going to go to attack an old man who's 75 years old or 80 years old who's going to masjid because the Tuba from American embassy gives you an order and he gives you money and you go attack. But you get hit in the process, you know, by a car before you can get to him. What do you think is going to happen? The angels of death will take your soul, okay, because now you got hit. Your soul is taken. You had just committed a major sin of kufr before you even got to this old man, because you listened to this disbeliever who told you and gave you $25 and say, you see this old man over here? Okay, you see him black with a beard, with the turban. He's going to the masjid. I want you to go after him. He runs and gets hit. The angels of death will question you. How are you going to explain why you answer that command from this disbeliever over here? These are the bare facts because all of us are going to die. All of us. I don't care who you think, or don't believe just because the Tubab tell you something. Don't believe you can die in a state that he can get you sent to the fire, because his mode is not to get you in heaven in Jannah. His mode is to take you to the fire with him. Because Subhan Watala says in the Quran that he said these disbelievers are going to be lined up before they sent to the hellfire. They're going to be pointing out the Muslims who assisted them. And there's going to be arguments between them. That's right. All these Muslims who are assisting the disbelievers and the intelligence agencies to fight and kill Muslims, they'll be lined up in the hellfire. They'll be lined up. And they're going to be going to them. They'll say, this one, he took money from me. This one, I ordered him to do, he did it. This one went on my command. I don't want to have that, brothers and sisters. You read the Quran, my brothers and sisters, and you be familiar with the Quran. And you understand the tafsir of the Quran. It's important. Do you want to be lined up on Yom Kippur and you have some disbeliever come to point you out and say that you followed them? I don't want that. So I give you this, brothers and sisters, so it can help you to discern. And then we'll get to this part about Iran, why Iran has a problem with this. But you have to understand the basis of Waha wa Baraha. You love for the sake of Allah, and you hate for the sake of Allah. So we look at that. Let's honor some of our guests here we have today. Get our brother here. Wa alaikum salam, my dear brother. Thank you for showing up. You always showing up. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And our brother here is giving his slams to everybody. And he's giving his slams. Thank you very much. Wa alaikum salam. Thank you very much, my dear brother. And my dear cousin here also. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my dear cousin. Wa alaikum salam. Thank you for showing up today. I really appreciate that. Now let's get started on this. Okay, my dear brothers and sisters. Now we're gonna get to this because today is going to be a very harsh talk. Because when you talk about the Waha wa Baraha, there's no compromising in it. There's no, well, you know, I live in Los Angeles, California, and so I'm required to go after the Muslims. I'm required to hate the Muslims. I'm required to love the kuffar. No, you're going to answer for that. You're going to answer for that. And this here, by you not following this helps to basically corrupt your shahadatain. It does, brothers and sisters. It helps to corrupt that. Now, let's get into this. Okay, where are we at here? Okay, the evidence is here. Okay, Ramos Award. Okay, I'm trying to find it, brothers and sisters. I got so much notes here. Amidst the enemies of loyal. Okay, where we at? Muslims should pray for strong leadership and not names of carrier. Okay, if you cannot say anything. Okay, I'm trying to, excuse me. There we go. In English translation, Waha wa braha is the loyalty and disavowment. The important concept in Islam is under attack from those within who say they're Muslims. They say they're Muslims, but they have disavowed many things of the Sunnah and they're acting in accordance against Islam, but they're within Islam. You see them go to the masjid, even some of them act as imams reciting the Quran, but they don't have loyalty to the Nabi. They don't have they don't have a loyalty to Allah because they're fighting his commands. But you see them inside the masjid making prayers. But that's only a nifaq. We call this in the Arabic language. It's a rouge. It's a lie. It's treachery. But they really are not believing. So the important concept in life is under attack for those within Islam and outside Islam. The Americans, the Israel, just about all the Western powers. I'll get into something that you're going to strengthen this. The concept is not understood by many Muslims today because most Muslims don't read or understand their religion. They think it's okay. We have brothers taking women who are less. They say, well, I can't find a Muslimah, so they go and find a woman who they meet at the bar. She's not eligible for your marriage, but you'll turn right back and say, oh, yeah, hey man, look, I read here it said, well, I can marry a Christian woman. There's conditions to that. You better go back now to Surah 60 again, verse 8 to 9. I can't recall what verse. I can't remember what verse it is, but you go and read this where Subhan Watala. No, excuse me, it's not there. Surah Nur, where Subhan Watala talks about the chastity of a woman. And I think also Surah 62, Mutahina, also talks about the chastity of a woman. She's not chaste. You cannot marry her. But these concepts are misunderstood, and now we have a lot of mixtures. When someone talks about the Wallahu Barha, it's been changed. The strong, devout Muslim, the scholar, used to throw him in jail. He's killed, or he's in rendition programs. We have all that. They have switched this around. Now, we have to understand something, brothers and sisters, about our religion. That you're rewarded for following to the best of your ability that of the Sunnah of Nabi alayhi salam, and also the Sunnah of Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. You must adhere as best as possible. None of us are perfect. All of us is going to fail. And that's why we have 5 daily prayers. So the times in between the prayers that we've sinned, we've done things wrong, we've said things we should not have said. Now you have the opportunity to go before Subhanahu wa Ta'ala in those prayers to ask Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for that forgiveness. See, so that's the important factor. It is misused by the enemies of Islam. The enemies of Islam today, even though they come out of the embassies, even though they come out from wherever, out of the Western power states, and they come into Muslim lands, they have the ear of the modernist and secularist Muslims. And they go to them and then they put programs in that essentially destroys the country. Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, of course, Allah Alam, I do not know, but I suspect from what I read and what I understand from my limited amount of knowledge, because I'm a human being, he sees what's happening, he disavows them, and he takes his hand and it allows for the modernists and secularists to do their dirty work. But he's going to examine my niyyah and the niyyah of other mu'mineen to see how we react. If we succumb to them negating the Wallaha wa Braha. So if we are killed in the process because the modernists and the secularists and the disbelievers get together and begin to put us in jail, kill us outright, throw us off airplanes, all kinds of stuff they're doing. They're going to examine that niyyah and see where we were as far as the Wallaha wa Baraha, did we stay in it? We're going to be examined that way. So they use this and saying this is a vehicle of terrorism. Again, this is how you trump the agents that come out of the American embassy or any of the embassies. When they start talking this stuff, you see them, they'll talk and they'll say Subhan Allahs' name. But yet and still, they just paid 5 or 6 thugs, gangsters, to do something to a strong, devout Muslim. So when you go to them and ask them about the Sharia law, why are you fighting against the Muslims? They'll give you an answer to that. So you ask them, which of the laws is best? They'll tell you straight out the American or the French, the British laws that they're gone. They're out. We have some other concepts in Islam. Shirk al-Taha, meaning you give your obedience to things that you know is involved in shirk. Those that come out of the embassies and stuff and comes around you to start talking to you and telling you to do things and stuff like that, you know this is shirk and kufr. And there's kufr iradi, meaning you know this is wrong. You know when they come to you and tell you all these guys over here, you see them in beards, you see them in turbans, they're terrorists, they're criminals, they're the ones responsible for all the turmoil in the country, and you take that word and then you act on it. This kufr iradi is what we call this. Kufr iradi. You know it's kufr. You know it, but you act on it. This is what we're talking about. So we have to be very careful of this. Now, the enemies use this as a vehicle to criminalize Islam. And they'll tell you, we're going to change it. So what the people do, these criminal, adu mujrim, we call this in Arabic, the criminal enemy, what he do, he changes everything. Even the salat in the masjid, they change that. You see this today, they drive all of the mu'mineen out of the masjids and they create all of this. You go in the masjid, some of the stuff I see, it's outrageous. And they're doing everything because they don't want the people like me to see. So that's why they try to drive me out of the masjids. So they do all this. Even their Dan, they change that. Especially in the morning fajr. You listen to many of the vans, they have made something to it. The Prophet ﷺ talked against this. When he comes to you and tell you, oh, there's nothing wrong with it. Don't listen to this man. This black man over here, he's American and he's African American. He's this, he's Fulani. Don't listen to him. But on the same token, you better listen to what the Prophet ﷺ said about this. He said, there's no such thing as good bid'ah. Remember, there's a phrase he put in there. He says, all innovations will lead you to the fire. Okay, now, how does you reconcile that with the disbelievers when they come and tell you, I want you to do this in the salat. I want you to act as the imam. I want you to add a dua qunut, which is not proper at this time, and they add it into the salat. This is what I'm talking about, this type of innovation. They come back and say, there's nothing wrong with it because we're praying to Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Well, you pray according to what the Nabi prayed. He did not do that. He did not authorize that. This is how I'll tie you into Iran. Hold fast on this. Brother, sister, I'll get to you in a second here. Please, let me make these points. All of this is under the Wallaha wa Baraha. See, and to accept Islam, accept them as the commander. Now, this is the part of the Wallaha wa Baraha where we fall today. The enemies will tell you, don't listen to Sheikh Yahya. Don't listen to the ulama fuqaha in northern Nigeria. Don't listen to the fuqaha and the ulama there in Niger or in Mali, from the Messina or from Senegal. You don't listen to them. You listen to us. And in the process, they try to take you from Islam. They try to take you from what is called a term in Arabic we call ibadatu. Okay, excuse me, I'm going too fast. Ibadatu. Come on now. Excuse me here. Okay, ibadatu. Old age too is creeping in. Oh man. Okay, English. It's the worship, idol worship. Obadatu Otani, excuse me, yes. And it's the idol worship. You begin to worship the disbelievers. So they criminalize Islam and reward the Muslims who abandon it. That's why today, the ones who's involved in kufr and shirk, no one fights them. Those who don't want to pray, they don't fight them. Those who walk around, they don't have nothing to do with Islam anymore, they don't fight them. They applaud them. They even give them a job, give them money to fight people like us. See? And then they in turn, because Subhan Allahs says, okay, you want to follow the devil and his demons and the people work under it. Subhan Allahs calls this Ikhwani Shayatin. Every concept that you think that these disbelievers can pull on you, Subhan Allahs got a term for them. So every time you read the Quran, you can understand there's a dividing line between us and them. See? So when you disavow me and you go to accept the disbeliever, okay, and you make him as your commander, you make him as your chief, you worship what he says and do, you make admiration towards him and you glorification of them. That's why they fight us, because the mu'mineen, they will not do any of this. When you come in with this, they say, no, I love Subhanahu wa ta'ala. When they start telling you, no, you follow what we tell you to do here in the masjid, you say, no, I pray as the prophet has prayed. So they'll fight you for that. But those who make innovations, those you see who are marginal, they don't have anything to do with Islam anymore. They don't touch that. This is what we talk about. Encourage the enemies of modern Muslims to abandon. The modern Muslims, they'll tell you, look, hey, you see this? Don't follow this. This is criminal. Take this turban off. Take your gandura off, and you dress as a disbeliever. The Nabi ﷺ said the sign of the times will be when the Muslims begin to imitate the Jews and the Christians. We have that today. They make conditions say that you can wear this only on Jumu'ah, on Friday, or you can wear only Islamic clothing at the time of Eid, or celebrations. That's the only time. After that, you go like a disbeliever. You act like a disbeliever. They encourage the Muslim today to pledge allegiance to the enemies of Islam for money. They'll tell you now, look, man, you make your pledge to the United States, you make your pledge to Britain, you make your pledge to the Cabra, America, France, España, and all these other places, and they'll pay you for it. This is outside of the Waha wa Braha. And it could hurt you in the hereafter. And this is what you have to avoid. We have our brother here. Thank you very much. Wa alaikum salam, my dear brother. Thank you very much for showing up today. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. A modern Muslim has introduced a new form of loyalty and disavowal of the Islamic faith. Now you see this has come to fruition, brothers and sisters. Now we get to the point about Iran. The Israel has killed and decimated our brothers in Gaza. Okay? There's no other way. Every person, human being, should be outraged on what this, and they're still killing as we speak today. They're still killing there in the Gaza. Israel has no rules. They can attack anyone at any time. They don't care with the UN because they have American and Western bloc who blocks and backs their play. That's why I say here in Africa today, you don't sit quietly in your chair. You should be sitting outside your chair now, organizing and tear up these security agreements with the Western powers. Because if Israel come to attack you, you won't be able to attack them back. And they can kill your population. Because the agreement you signed with these devils. See? And look, Israel said they attacked Iran because they believed them to have a nuclear program and so forth and so on. They attacked them because of this. They came to Sudan. They came into Africa to attack Black African Muslims on the word of themselves by saying they had intelligence that Sudan was manufacturing weapons. They bombed them and killed our brothers and sisters and some family. What's stopping them to go after Nigeria? Because they said the Fulani and the herdsmen are aiding the brothers in Gaza, and make up a lie on somebody. Even though it's all common knowledge, every Muslim supports our brothers in Gaza. That's Wallaha. I mean, we have to. We have allegiance to our brothers. We pray for them. We hope for their well-being, that they are successful. See? And so the modern Muslim has introduced a form of loyalty and disavowal of the Islamic faith. This is why we have the problems. Now, we see Iran. Iran is standing on the side. Iran is fighting back. What Muslim state will fight Israel? None. They won't touch them. With all the stuff that we have, why? Because the weapons that were given, because of the agreement that you have with the West, they armed them to the teeth. They gave them modern weaponry. They gave them airplanes. They gave surveillance equipment. It's only in Jazeera Arab to go to monitor and to kill other Arabs. They make the same agreement in North Africa. It's designed to kill the Afro-Arabs and the Amazigh, the weaponry that they collected. South of the Sahara, it's designed to kill black faces, not to defend yourself against Israel who comes to attack you. You can't fight them back. This is why I said, brothers and sisters, we got to wake up here. Because if Israel defeats Iran, they're not going to stop at that. Anybody who they decide who they're mad with, they send an emissary to come to Nigeria. And he's disrespected. Or he said he was disrespected, and he sent bombers to go and drop bombs on Lagos. Or they drop bombs on Kaduna and northern Nigeria. Huh? Who's going to fight them back? This is what I'm talking about. We have to do something. And this new form of loyalty is destroying the Muslim Ummah. This violates many verses in the Quran that contain, it's supposed to be Subhan Allahs, Allah, his command, as well as the hadiths. These violations are many, and Subhan Allahs talks against this in the Quran in many instances. Subhan Allahs promises the reward of the Muslim who adheres to his commands and the adherence to the instructions of the Nabi, alayhi salatu. Verse 69 in Surah 4 is proof of that. So meaning, if you disavow when that evil man comes and tells you, we want you to change the salat. We want you to go in, we'll put you imam or a masjid, but we want you to change the salat. We want you to give the adhan in the morning. Yes, give it, but you change it. We want you to go and spy and go after strong, devout Muslims, point them out, make reports against them, so we'll know how to go after them. All of these things the enemies of Islam and enemy of Allah are doing against the mu'mineen. Surah 69, Subhanahu wa ta'ala promises a reward for the Muslims who say no to this. In there, Subhanahu wa ta'ala says, whoever obeys Allah and his messengers, those will be the ones upon whom Subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed favor of the prophets, the steadfast affirmers of faith, martyrism, and righteousness. By you saying no to the embassy, the agent comes in the embassy, from the embassy, and he comes around you. He even have a beard, he'll have a kufi, he have gandura on, and you know, because if you are a mu'min, if you are a believer, you'll know by when this man comes, there's something that's not right. You will know. But those who are outside of favor of Allah, they can't tell the difference because they can only see, and they'll go and hey, switch because your mind has been tricked. So, the devil, Shaitan, will have you looking at a strong believer. And this is why these guys on the street will say to you, it's you that's creating the crimes. And you're trying to say, what's the guy talking about? And I got to watch you because we have burglary over here. I got to watch you when you go in to get bread because this woman said that her phone was taken. So they'll say that I did it. Or people like me, we do it. not the ones who are actually doing it. This is the tricks that Shaitan plays, because you have made allegiance to the disbelievers, and this is why you have these problems. Evidence Surah Nisa, verse 144, Subhan Allahs said, "Oh, you have believed, do not take the disbelievers as allies." Brothers and sisters, this Wallaha wa Barha proof. These are the words of Subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, you do not take disbelievers as allies. You cannot. Yes, we have treaties when we work out treaties. That's a different situation, but that doesn't mean that you work out a treaty with the Americans, but you allow Americans to kill our brothers in Gaza or plot and kill Muslims in Afghanistan. No. We're talking about a healthy relationship and trade and everything, not meaning we help them to kill other Muslims. And Subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about, do you wish to give Allah a clear authority over you? When you go to the disbeliever and you give your enmity to him, and you give your love and your adoration to him, and then you follow him, Subhanahu wa ta'ala, now you have his hand has been removed from you until you make repentance and come back. Now you will be subject to the whims of the shaitan, the devil, and these disbelievers. And they'll be able to guide you to fight Muslims all over the place. And we have that. And if you look at many of them, when you ask them, why did you go after this man who's 78 years old? He's going to and from the masjid. You see him, he's feeble, why'd you go attack him? Many times they won't be able to tell you, because Subhanahu wa ta'ala is drawing his hand. Now he's working with the devil and the shaitan, because you have somebody from an embassy or some agent working him. And those people working with the jinn, the evil jinn, and with the shaitan and the demons. They work with them. Because, and I say this is proof of this, Subhanahu wa ta'ala never guides any of us to do something wrong. He never tells us, he never gives us evidence or Borhan tells, oh, hey, you're here. Let me tell you something. Why don't you go over here and bomb these cars over here? Or why don't you go over here and do this to these people? Subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't do that. The devil does. These people work and wait. They wake up in the morning. The shaitan give them instructions how to go after the people who believe in Allah. And this is what they do. They come up with crazy, evil things that you can't even think of to do to another Muslim. And you tell me Subhanahu wa ta'ala never guides you to do wrong. When that Tubab comes, he's sitting in he gets out of his bed, the shaitan comes to him and tells him, look, Yahya, he goes at 5:45 in the morning, he walks this way, and he gives him instructions. Now you hire these amount of people here, you put them in these cars, you tell them to do this, and he does it. Because he's not a Muslim. He's only acting as a Muslim. He's only going by what Shaitan tells him. That's who his ilah is, Shaitan. It's not Subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they do it. So this is evidence of this. And our Prophet, okay, said, we hate for the sake of Allah and we love for the sake of Allah, and loyalty that established brotherhood. Now, does the enemy establish brotherhood in the land? No, they do not. They do the exact opposite, because they divide the land. Those who are working with them, who their love towards them is here. Those who love Allah, they fight. Some years back, maybe 10, 12, 15 years ago, the Pentagon came up with a list on Muslims, the fundamentalists, the traditionalists, the modernists, the secularists. The first two, the fundamentalists, there's no such thing as that, but that's what they call us. And those, the traditionalists, you fight them. That's what they've done since 9/11. So this is, again, all of this is tied in. I'm going towards Iran to get you up to speed on this. The Pledge of Allegiance invalidates the Pledge of Allegiance to, this is important. I'm Fulani. You heard, I don't make no, there's nothing wrong with that. We got House of Brotherhood, nothing wrong with that. But it doesn't overshadow the allegiance to Subhanahu wa ta'ala and to the Ummah. That takes precedence over my nationality. It takes the Pledge of Allegiance to a state. They tell you, no, and some Muslim states are this way today. They'll tell you, actually, the flag or the remnants of that is more important in your allegiance than that of Allah. See, so this, we have to stop that. This is wrong. See, this is wrong. Subhan Watala gave instructions to our Nabi alayhi salam to be forceful against the disbelievers and merciful towards themselves. The disbelievers, why do you think that they fight the devout Muslims? Here, Subhan Watala is getting to you to understand why. They see them, people who are mu'mineen. You see them bowing and prostrating. Think about this, with Subhan, because he knows a human being, even those who work with the Shaitan, they know them. He's telling us in this verse, you see them bowing and prostrating, seeking bounty from Allah and approval. Since the mu'mineen are making this prostration, they can't control. They can control the rebellers against who don't pray, those who don't have nothing to do with Islam. They can control them because they're not talking to Subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't make prostrations. They don't purify themselves. So it's easy for them to control them. But the mu'mineen who go to make prostrations, they can't. They can't get in between that prayer between him and Allah. So they can't stand it. So that's why they try to take the masjid from you. They try to take you from Salat and get you like the rest of the people who walking around today, which now in Muslim countries today, 70% of the people who said they're Muslims are not even practicing anymore. It's easy for the disbelievers to control them because they're not working and in good terms with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But subhanahu wa ta'ala explains why the disbelievers, like from the embassies who are working as Muslims, what they can't stand. He's telling you, they see you bowing and prostrating, seeking bounty from Allah and his approval. They can't control that. They hate to see that. He made this, he gets enraged because the disbelievers, thereby, they're outraged. They see you prostrating. They see you making dhikr with your hand to Allah. They see you walking with the malaika. They know that you are on this way. So they fight you. They send criminals after you. They even get in between the strong Muslims. They go to their wives and have them, trap them into situations, forcing them to even work against their husbands. We have that. They want to do everything they can to stop you from making prostration to Subhanahu wa ta'ala, to break you from that cycle. See, and so this is why they spin in Muslim lands to millions, brothers and sisters. See, and whatnot, to get you from prostration, to take you from prostrating to Subhanahu wa ta'ala. They'll do everything to stop you. When they can't stop you from physicality, you enter the masjid, they have the masjid so dirty. They keep the masjid filthy, and they bring the filthiest people inside the masjid, knowing that you're a movement. They'll see what's going on, and then they see bid'ah going all over the place inside the masjid. Like I've seen quite a few times, especially Salat al-Asr. It's so disheartening. You see, one imam is one corner over here, another man. Now here we're in Salat. Here, and you have the so-called imam here, okay, which I'm not going to get into that. He's over here. Then you have other imams on the other side. This is not the salat of the Prophet ﷺ. This is what I'm talking about. They deliberately do this. So that way, when you come in, you see all this stuff going on inside the masjid because they want to drag you out. See, then on top of that, these disbelievers who control a lot of the masjids, they have schedules. They give schedules to people, and they say, okay, on this day, you go to the masjid. Their salat is no good, it's not accepted. Because the bare essence of the salat is what? Is your niyyah, your intentions. If you don't have the niyyah from it, and you can't say, I took money, and that's my niyyah. Yes, you can say that, but that's not the niyyah, meaning this is good. It's not. It corrupts your salat. See, So they give money and they'll tell people on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you go to the masjid. Tuesday, Thursdays, Mohammed and Yahya, you go to the masjid. What near you have? See? And then they'll give a schedule for those who stay after Fajr prayer to listen to the Quran. You don't do it because you love the Quran, but you ordered to do it because you took money from the disbelievers to do this, to make it appear like you're mu'mineen. And all the while, when one of the brothers from ulama, one of the brothers who are strong and devout, they'll go after him inside the masjid to drive him out. This is the dirty politics of Wallaha wa Braha, what they're doing to it, to change it. See? And this prostration to Allah is upsetting to them. They can't stand that because why? They can't control it. Because the Tubab, the wicked Tubab, the ones who are wicked. We have wicked Africans too, believe it. We got black faces who are just as wicked. Wickedness is everywhere in the world. It's not only the Tubab, it's Africans too. We have some of the most wickedest people as well. They don't need anybody to help them. They're already wicked. They're doing it on their own. But one of the things that the disbelievers who are guided towards this can't stand is to see you make prostrations. They don't want that because they can't walk to you and stop you. They can't get in between that. They can't. They can't control you because they know that you're going to Subhan Watala. They don't like that. Okay. It throws them out of the racist and genocidal notion that Allah is one. They don't want the Tawheed. They are not the central figurehead. The Tubab, the racist Tubab, this has been going on since the white man's burden. They developed that. They want the admiration and worship of them. They can't stand any other partners to them. That's why they fight the commands of Allah, because they know that you will not go to worship them. So they come to Muslim states, they expect you to worship them. You have people doing it. You see people kissing their feet. You see them hosting them up there, but the strong, devout Muslim won't do that. He say, hey, he's just a man. He's the enemy of Allah because Abdul Billah, that's what we call them. That's what he is. So you walk away from him. They know that you can't control him, so they do other things to get you to, and make up lies on you, get you thrown in jail, and so forth and so on. But the Wallaha wa Barad, you keep that, my dear brothers. I don't care. This now circumvents all ethnic. We got Hausa brothers. We got Igbo brothers. We got Yoruba brothers. If you say you're Shahadatain, we're all brothers. Irrespective of I'm Fulani and my good brother over here is Hausa. It doesn't make a difference. Or my brother over here is a Russian, or he's from Dagestan, or he's from Afghanistan. He's from Pakistan. See, wherever, he's my brother. This is the Wallaha wa Braha, okay, for loving for the sake of. Now, here we go. Iran's Shia and elsewhere, the Shahadatain is flawed and corrupted. Reason why I'm talking about this, brothers and sisters, because I want us to get a firm understanding of what's before us. Yes, I see the war going on. You heard me talk the other day. Yes, I see it. But you have to, I don't want my brothers and sisters who are Sunnah, who believe in the Sunnah, to jump ship and thinking that you are doing something good by showing loyalty toward the Shia. You can't. You look at the scholarship, they will tell you straight, you can't. I just saw a brother talk about the same issue today. He wanted to stop some of the brothers because they were talking crazy about, they're ready to go to make jihad. There's no jihad in Iran. There's not. Because it's true, like he said, I've said this too. They make their prayers, but it's different from ours. Everything that we do, they're different from the Sunnah. One of the parts of the Shahadatain is obedience to the Prophet ﷺ. They don't do that. See, so the allegiance is reversed, and defilement of Muslim is Sunnah to their beliefs. The Shia believe it's okay for them to fight the Muslimin. So where did that come from? It didn't come from the Quran. It didn't come from anything from the hadith of Salam. No, it did not. See, and they are taking the Sunnah from his beliefs. They're trying to take you from that. This is the problem that we have. Okay, we got here, we got, oh, my sister. Oh, thank you very much. Linda was showing up today. Thank you very much. I hope you're doing well, my sister. Thank you very much. Thank you for showing up today. So now we have this part, and brothers and sisters, I'm going to get into this, but not taking the two kuffar from his and letting him to worship, but to fight. The Shia will not take on the kuffar and go after their modes of worship. But the movement like me, they would go after to attack me. But the kuffar over here, they will not go to attack him, to bring him from that, to bring him to the right way. Their right way is different than my right way. See? So they leave the disbelievers alone. Wallaha wa braha. Love for the sake, the ummah, and you hate the kuffar, right? The Shia turns back around and says he will not fight the disbelievers, but he will fight the believers. This is why I'm trying to tell you, brothers and sisters, why you got to be very careful when you start talking about you give support. I gave you how you should give the support. We all want to see Iran kick Israel's butt to stop their aggression, because we look at the end game. Israel is going to be so empowered that they'll start attacking Muslims everywhere. That's where their aim is at, is to attack the Muslims everywhere. See? And they're racist on top of that. You think they love you, black man? They don't. They got a special hate for you, because why? I can get into this a little bit, because they know the original Hebrews were black. They know that. They know that. They know that. But they have this thing against you, because they know that what's in your bloodline is the original Hebrews, is not in theirs. We got that proof by DNA. Our black brothers were the original Hebrews. Even the Jewish scientists, geneticists have proven this. So they have a special genocidal hate for you. See, so, and we have two enemies, brothers and sisters. If you see what Subhan Allahs is telling you, you have the Israeli who fight the Muslims everywhere they may be, and they hate the Arabs and the blacks in particular, and the Pakistanis as well. They hate. You have the Shia who are sworn enemies to the Muslimin as well. But before this fight was going on, he was in bed with the Israelis. He was in bed with the Americans. He was in bed with the other Western powers to fight and control Muslimin. He was shocked, even his own admission, that his bedfellow, okay, he's been going on and off in bed with, suddenly attacks him. See? So we have that. Now, I'm going to get into something here, brothers and sisters, about when this concept here, I told you the other day, bi'ithnillah, with Subhan Allahs' permission. Allah alam, I will say that as well. I do not know, but I feel it. I sense it. I can't get deeper into some personal thoughts about this Sultan that will come before the Mahdi, and he'll come from the African continent, because Subhan Watala has talked about if the Arabs, and let me preface this by saying this, for all those brothers sitting in the United States and elsewhere, and even the Africans, you don't get your religion from the Arabs. You get it from Subhan Watala. You follow the righteous among them, not any of them. And you have many of them are led astray today. So you don't take your religion because he's Arab. You take the religion because he's a righteous man and he happened to be Arab. You see? Same way with a black man. You don't follow a black man because he's black. You follow him because he's righteous and you know his knowledge is right and correct. See? So you have to make that distinction. But brothers and sisters, I'm going to tell you something. The retribution on behalf of this concept will be on the tuba of America and Europe. It's coming. For all of it, what it has done from the 1400s, you think about when the first time the Portuguese went around North Africa, okay, to Morocco, at the time was black. And that's where they began to take their first slaves. You read what the Sadiyin had to say about this. Sadiyin, I may hope, inshallah, I'll talk about the Sadiyin. This is the Sultanate of Morocco. My brothers. They come from the Sani people. I'll get into that another time. The Sani people are who? Are Fulani people. Now, they talk about the Portuguese making raids along the south. So they used to have outposts, and you see this in south, beautiful city of Asfi. You see these outposts where they're watching for the Portuguese because they will come inland, their port or their dock, and they will take, because this is a fishing port, they'll take the fishermen and enslave them, take them on board, and then take them into Europe. From the 1400s to the 1800s, the Europeans and the Americans, the Tubab, were enslaving and killing Africans. Especially the last 100 years, the Muslims. The Waha wa Baraha will come to effect when this sultan comes in play on this continent. He is going to go after the Tubab of America and Europe, but except Russia. Why? Russia fields the largest Muslim population in Europe. Is moving closer and closer by the day towards Islam. By the time I feel this sultan will come, the relationship between Russia and the Muslims, which is getting there. Yes, we have some things going on that they're doing wrong. But you listen to President Putin, what he's facilitated in Russia is unparalleled across Europe and America. And when this sultan begins his trek to fight and kill the Tubab, the Russians will be along with their black brothers. I firmly believe that. It's getting towards that. You're going to see something like this, where you'll have a Russian president who is basically, most likely at this time, would be a Muslim. He is going to be separate himself from Western Europe and from the Americans. They're moving towards that arena today. You think the Americans like Putin facilitating Islam in his country? They don't like that. He's allowed Islamic banking system. They don't like that. He's allowed Muslims to migrate to their land. The Americans don't like that. They can't control that. They're going to have more akin in a fellowship with their fellow Muslims than they will with the West, which they are already separated to a strong degree. When this sultan comes, he is not going to play any games. And he's going to have the safe. He has the Quran here. He's going to follow the Waha wa Baraha. He's going to follow the Quran, and he will come after all of the genocidal racists who have killed Africans since the 1400s. At his disposal, he's going to have some innate power, some gift that Subhan Allahs is going to give him, that give him some insights, that he will understand what happened to his ancestors in previous generations. And he will carry a heavy sword, as our ancestors did in prior centuries before the Tubab colonized us. There was a concept we call the Quran in the safe. You'll see the strong Fulani sultanates and Sultan Sawadi, Sultan Amadou, Sultan Diallo, Sultan Ibn Majah, I mean, we got all these Fulani sultans. One of the things that was all they had was the Quran and the Safe. When they weren't in jihad fighting with the Safe, they had the Quran in their hand, reading and studying in it. This sultan will have this about him, and he will have believers around him to assist him. This is why their jaysh will be so untouchable. And when it's time to make fight, he's going to go to Russia, and he's going to talk to his Russian brothers who will go to fight in unison with him. I believe this. Western Europe and America will be in trouble. By the time he gets through with you, you'll be a shell of yourself. America, your days are being numbered. I don't say that to be funny or facetious, but we already know that because the Prophet said it's going to be a war, big war between the Christians and the Muslims, and the Christians will be defeated once and for all. We know that. But I believe this sultan who will come will be somebody who's going to soften up Western Europe and America, because he's going to enter into bloody wars with them, and he's going to defeat them continuously. And something will happen with this great sultan. He will pass on, and the Ummah will be weak again prior to the Mahdi coming. The Mahdi, when he comes, then it'd be all over. And you guys call him the English, and you call him what you call him, the Antichrist. We know him as the Ad-Dijjal and Quranic Arabian. So you'll see this, but this man is going to soften up the Americans in Western Europe in bloody wars. But something's going to happen to the Sultan. He's going to pass on, and the Ummah will become weak again. I believe this. And under this Wallaha wa Baraha, you will have this beautiful relationship of Muslims with other Muslims. You'll see Pakistani Muslims, Indian Muslims, Kashmir Muslims. You see Western European Muslims. You see American Muslims. We'll have this bond of Wallaha wa Baraha we all adhere to. And we'll have this relationship among us. And and it's going to be a strong bond between us. And this is why I said, brothers and sisters, this is going to be a big turning point in the Wallaha wa Baraha. Now, what about the Persians? The Persians, the Iranians, will be defeated at time because they will make their allegiance. This is why what is happening now, brothers and sisters, this is why this situation, we looking at it from the long point. This war is going to end. And we know that the Shia will side with the Christians and the Jews against the Muslimin. We know this because they're already doing it when they're not in war. See, we know that. And this is why your response to what has happened is, yes, we want the Shia to destroy Israel because it's destroying Gaza. We want them to exact retribution upon them for their genocidal racist tendencies to kill. But we only sit back and hope that they do it. But you do not jump ship and claim that you're going to go to assist them, or now you want to be Shia, or you want to have some things with them because they're in violation of the Wallaha wa Baraha. Subhan Watala is going to already guide us, and our Prophet Islam is already guide us. They're going to abandon this in one day, and they'll go to aid the Jews and Christians, which they're doing today against the Muslimin. They've been doing this for many decades. And it's under the table. Many of us know that. So what makes you think that after this war, you think they're going to love you as, the Muslimin in Nigeria? No, they're going to fight you. And this is an integral situation. So, brothers and sisters, I talked harsh today. And maybe it may be too rich for some people, but we have to talk. When you talk about the Waha, there's no such thing as sugarcoating this, especially with Iran. I give you more guidance. I've said this to you before. You can talk to other students of knowledge. You can talk to the scholars. You can read what they say. There's differences, brothers and sisters. When the Prophet said, he said, pray as I pray. The Shia says, no, we don't follow that. They pray 5 daily prayers, but their prayers are different than the Sunnah. We try to pray as the Prophet. They don't do that. When we have janazah, meaning when somebody dies, their janazah is different. It's not according to the Sunnah of the Sharia law. We have enmity against the disbelievers. They don't. Yes, when they get attacked, they fight them. But when they're not fighting, they're in unison with them. You ask the Sunni in Iran, you ask the Sunni in Iraq, who are the neighbors, ask the Sunni in Syria, what did they do to them? Ask the Sunnah in Yemen, what did they do to them? This is why I said, brothers and sisters, be careful on what you give your alliances to. The concept of the concept of Waha should guide you, to help you to discern. You do not support Israel. You don't support them at all. None whatsoever. You cannot. And you temper your support for Iran. Because once it's over, brothers and sisters, they're going to start to go after you again. And you have to be very cognizant of that. Now, of course, we're Muslims. We always want to side on the era of peace. We want peace. We don't want to see innocent people die. That's not what we want to see. That we don't want to see that. See, but you have to understand too that you're forbidden from giving your support to the persons who are outside of the Waha wa Baraha, and they gave their devotion to others to fight you. And this is what we know them as the Rafida, whose commissioned to fight and defeat once and for all the Muslimin. So those who came in last week, the other day, with all this stuff, a banter about Muslim state, Muslim country, we don't consider that a Muslim country. Their Islam is different. It's not following the guidance of Subhan Allahs. It's not following the guidance of the Prophet ﷺ, and it's proven many times. But that does not mean that we can't have well wishes that they will come to accept Sunnah. We want that. In the meantime, we wish them well in fighting against Israel. And we want to see them kick their butt. We want to see that. So, brothers and sisters, I'm hoping today that you will listen to my words. If you have something to say or you want to get a hold of me, please get a hold of me at my email here. This is my email address. And there's no compromising, brothers and sisters. There's no compromising with the Wallah, those such things. That is not. You can't use modern times and so forth to tweak it here, and you cannot, because the order came from Subhan Watala, and the order came from the Nabi alayhi salam. So you must adhere to as it is. You have no right to change it. And you have to understand your religion to help you to understand. You should understand the Shia, what they represent. You must understand that. Now, you're going to have some, because they have struck friendships with many Shia, and they'll talk against you and say, look, man, don't do. No. What about the Wallah wa Baraha? Hmm? We're not trying to say that every Shia person is a criminal, is somebody for you to beat up, or somebody for you to go after. No, you cannot do that. We're not saying that. We're not saying that at all, because there's good and bad. All of us, we know that. But we're talking about, as a general rule, we cannot. We can't even marry a woman. That with the current. How can you do that? I give you an example. This has happened. You have a Shia woman. She falls in love with a man who's Sunnah. She falls in love with him. They both madly in love with each other. They marry. Inside the household, before the children come, they begin to have debates and arguments about the salat. When they see her put a stone in front of her at the end of her prayer rug, and she puts her head on that, which is against the Sunnah. There's no Prophet, he didn't do that. That's one. When she begins to make dua for the 12 imams, that they are their interceders between them and Subhan Watala, the Sunnah, we don't have that. You get me? You see what I'm talking about? When someone dies, she asks her husband, who she loves dearly, I want you to come with me because this brother, the Shia brother, he died. I want you to come to his janazah. He comes and sees a janazah is not the same. He sees people beating themselves with whips. He sees blood being drawn. He sees, according to his status, those Muslims walking in unison without their shirt on, and they're beating themselves, okay, with straps, making themselves bleed. He's Sunnah. He said, what is this? This is what I'm talking about, bro. We can't marry them. And we've had brothers have these conflicts to the point where they divorce. She says, no, this is the correct way. He tries to guide her back to the Sunnah and say, look, this is the way our prophet prayed. He said, pray this way. She says, no, we pray this way. I need to put the stone there. I need to put my head on it. I need to make my dua. And I need to go and to the 12 imams. We don't have that. This is what I'm talking about, brothers and sisters. Okay? When you're sitting in the house with your Shia wife and suddenly the Sunnah come over, your brothers come to the house and they start to talk, she's angry because she knows that they are against the Shia. So you have many conflicts. That's why we can't marry with them. Cannot. But we've had brothers marry them when they finally, their husbands say, look, this is the right way. And they accepted that. We start to see this a lot. Even when I was in California, we start to see this. We start to see Iranian girls, beautiful sisters, off the chart in beauty. I mean, beautiful sisters. But their Aqidah was wrong. It was Shia. It was wrong. But we have strong brothers come to take them and say, hey, look, this is the right way. They accepted that. And once they accepted it, of course, they may make little mistakes here and there because they were indoctrinated for many years as Shia, but they began to pray as Sunnah. This is what I say, why we have to take all of this and understand it and go from there. And be careful, because this concept here, you must adhere to, brothers and sisters, and you must accept it. Because this is part of your Shahadatain. You must understand it. And this thing with the Shia, you must understand their position on you. You have to ask, prior to this, what were they doing? They were fighting you. Prior to this, in the Waha wa Baraha, they took the exact opposite. They fight you. They were in bed with the Americans and others to fight the Sunnah. They made agreements to go to, and when they overrode some country, in the background there was some Tubab nation assisting them. See, so they'll go back to that once this war ends. Believe me, they will. This is why the Americans are having a tough time now. They don't know what to do, because behind the scenes they need the Shia in order to corral the Middle East, the Jazeera Arab. They need the Shia to make a counterbalance between the strong Muslims that are there. If they go to attack Iran, They're afraid Iran will jump ship and start to side and towards with their Sunni brothers, and then the Americans will be out. So the Americans have to, they don't know what to do. If they go to fight the Shia could turn their back on them in time. But they need the Shia in order to keep the balance they see in Jazira Arab. And they need somebody to fight for them against the Sunnah. This is the Shia have been doing under the table with them. You notice when there was fighting going on in Syria between ISIS and them, you notice that none of the Western powers attacked any of the Shia groups. They only attacked the Sunnah and assisted them in attacking the Sunnah. So that's why I say, brothers and sisters, it's a dirty business. You must adhere to this. This is the command of Allah and the command of the Nabi alayhi salam. You love for the sake of Allah and you hate for the sake of Allah. You give your love and your guidance, what word I'm looking for in English? Your adherence to your brothers, and you disavow the disbelievers. Again, not meaning you can lie to them, beat them, you can cheat them in stores. No, we're not talking about that. That's not what the Waha Subhan Watala told you. You cannot take them as friends and protectors. You just cannot. He's warned you in this. If I find this here, where are we at here? Okay, this is the command of, this is part of this. The Nabi was given instructions in the Quran that he said that Subhan Allahs said, look, you be forceful against the disbelievers, but merciful towards themselves, meaning the mu'mineen. This is in order. This is the wallaha wa bara. This is the allegiance that you have to other Muslims. This is what now you see the Prophet ﷺ, he was given this guidance. This is what he did. He adhered to this. See, so you have to make sure that that you take that, and Subhan Allahs has made sure that you have the evidence here that in Surah 4, verse 144, Subhan Allahs said, you who believe, do not take disbelievers. This is what the Shia do as allies. Under the table, they work with the disbelievers against the Sunnah, against the Muslims, and instead of the believers. They won't take us as allies. They take only the disbelievers as allies. They take themselves of the Shia and Shia branches of the Shia. They take them as protectors and friends, and they take disbelievers as friends and protectors as well. This is against the Wallahi wa Braha and against this verse. Because they take the disbelievers, and we have Muslims today that are doing it. We know this. The Muslim states are doing this today. They will forsake the mu'mineen, and they will allow, this is why we have problems in the Muslim states today. Disbelievers have free access. They get easy citizenship. They get easy residency. They can get loans. They can do just about what they want, even commit crimes to a degree in many Muslim states. But they curtail the actions of Muslims. I can't go into many West African countries because of this situation like this. If I was a disbeliever doing things, most likely I can go from country to country. But because of my status as I am today, they won't allow me to do it. They reversed the Wallahi wa Baraha. This is what we're talking about. We got somebody here. Who we got? Where is this? Dimitri. How you doing, my dear brother? Thank you for showing up. I thank you. Thank you very much for showing up today. Salam. Thank you very much, my dear brother. So as we start to end this now, you got this picture here, and this is a serious situation at hand. And my evidence to you today is unequivocal. We have the commands of Subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we got the commands of our Prophet ﷺ. And we also have, in between this, we have also other conditions about our relationships with disbelievers. We have degrees of disbelievers who we can have treaties with, who we can make business with. But the last one, what we call El Harbi, like the Americans, the British, and others like this, we cannot have really treaties with them. They should be fought because they're fighting and killing Muslims as we speak. But because of the state, the way things are today, we're too weak. This is why I said I urge the continent and the Muslim countries in particular to abandon these agreements, because you can get your population killed. Because if Israel defeats the Iranians and they start to go after African states, who is going to fight them back? You can't, because the treaties that you have to let the Americans in particular control your armies. And when the Israelis drop bombs in Casablanca, they drop bombs in Rabat, they drop bombs here in Fez, and they begin to kill people because they said the Moroccans are doing certain things. Who is going to fight them back? You can't, because the Americans, you have an agreement. The Americans will tell you you can't. This is what happened in Sudan. The Sudan had a security agreement with the Americans. The Americans stopped them from retaliating because they couldn't. This is why I'm trying to say, brothers and sisters, you cannot have treaties with evil entities. You cannot. Because we do not want to see our countries here in Africa being bombarded by Israel, because they are at the point now they can kill anyone at any time, anywhere. And you see, nothing can stop them. Now they're having a tough time because the Iranians are dropping bombs and now causing a lot of destruction inside Israel. And that's stopping their progress. But they have ambitions to overtake all the Muslims. All from Jazeera Arab. I don't care if they're Saudis or whomever, they want to overtake all. And they want to move to the west to take out Turkey, and then move towards the east to take out Afghanistan and Pakistan. This is deadly. So you have to be ready. And on this continent, we should be trying to work, especially in West Africa, to put these factions together and bring us together to stop this, because we're weak. And I say to you now, if they came to Niger and dropped some bombs because they said Niger was supporting Gaza, who's going to fight them back? Who's going to fight them back? They're too weak. They cannot. This is what we're talking about. So, brothers and sisters, with that said today, I know this is kind of a harsh and difficult topic, but you have to be told this as a Muslim. And you have to be made to understand what this is. And you have to be made to understand, too, the differences between Waha wa Baraha. You have to be made understand that when you're devout, you're going to be fought, because this has been switched around. And when I walk to go to the masjid, or I'm inside the masjid, I'm going to be subject to attacks, because most of my brothers are not going to early prayers anymore because of what's going on in the masjids. So I'm subject to being attacked inside. Here is Subhan Allahs' house. These dreadful disbelievers, Tubab, bring people in to go to fight people like me inside the masjid. They're not there for prayer. They're there to fight, to cause friction inside the masjid. This is what they're there for. And many times I come out, there's cars coming by, people are making comments. These guys are drunkards, they're criminals. I'm walking to go home, I got to cross the road, they'll come by and make comments, trying to entice me into something. This is because the Americans paid them to do that. They're going back and forth in their car. I got videos showing these guys, they'll come by and they'll stop and say, and you can smell some marijuana. Sometimes you smell, beer on their breath. I ignore them. And I just continue to walk. If they get out, of course, I have no other choice but to fight. But these ones here is why the Wallaha wa Braha, they have left the religion. See, this is why the Americans can use them, and they are in line with the Americans and other disbelievers against the believers. And this is partly all of us who are devout Muslims have this problem everywhere. It's not only here, it's everywhere else. Same thing. When I was in Sudan, I saw that also. So we have to be very cognizant of this, and we have to be steadfast in our belief. When they come to me to tell me to leave the religion, can you believe that? They'll send a criminal, okay, a thug, a miscreant, to come to me to tell me that the white boy over here at the Tuba said, if you leave the religion, they'll stop to mess with you. They'll leave you alone if you take off your turban and your gandura and your dara, the agbada. And if you start to adhere to what they tell you, if you want to be Muslim, we allow you to be Muslim on Fridays, but after that, you go back to being where you were. You'll be a disbeliever. We want you to dress like the Tubab, and we want you to put that Tubab as your figurehead, your Godhead, over Allah. Then we won't fight you no more. Sometimes I have patience, I ignore them and laugh and walk on. Other times I get angry and talk to them. And I talk to them, ask them questions. And some of the things that they say is outrageous. And I said, do you fear Subhan Watala? I said, you know, the Malaika is right here writing what you're saying. What if you leave here and you die in the process? How are you going to explain to when the angels of death come to you? They're going to know that you died in this state. Many of them laugh. They're so far gone, they laugh. See? So, brothers and sisters, this is a talk that may upset a lot of people, but I have to talk this. I must talk this way to put guidance. And I'll go over this one more time again, and then I'm finished. The Wallaha wa Bara allows for the brotherhood of Muslims. Here you have a Black African, and you have a brother from Japan. He's Muslim. The Wallaha wa Braha, Muslim Aku Muslim, kicks in. This is the beauty of our religion, that once the Shahadatain is taken, we have this brotherhood that supersedes even our family relationships. And I believe in particular, that the Russians will aid the great Sultan that will come before the Mahdi and their fight against the Americans in Western Europe. I believe they will aid them. Because we already see President Putin has a profound respect for the Quran. He has a profound respect for the scholars of Islam. You see that when even the Quran is brought near him, you see his utmost respect for it. He's allowed for the scholarship to permeate in his lands. He's allowed Russia to be the biggest Muslim population by far in Europe. This is going to translate when this Sultan comes with the sword. He's going to know that his Russian brothers that's facing way up to the north are already at odds and been at odds for decades with the Western Europeans and so forth. He's going to know that his emissary is going to come back to him and say, our Russian brothers are in with us, and they will join the fight to fight the Americans and the Western Europeans. I believe this is coming. This is why I told you that the Jaish that will come under this Sultan will be so powerful, will be untouchable. It'd be untouchable because the Europeans won't have any way to go. The Americans won't have no way to turn because the Russians will cut off the Eastern corridor. They can't go further south because they'll run into Africa, and Muslim states of now Africa will be united as an Islamic sultanate. And this sultan will be a powerful black man, okay, who will be out from, he's going to be descended from some of the, either from the sultanates that we have in the Sahel or from the sultanates that happen in North Africa. I'll get into those one of these days because you need to know about North Africa, especially Al-Maghrib, where I live today, or Morocco, as you call it in English. You need to understand some things about this. He's going to either come from this region here, or he's going to come from the south, and he's going to act as his ancestors did in previous centuries. So the southern corridor will be shut off, and he will shut this door. The Americans, the Western Europeans' influences will be gone. By this time, they'll be all thrown out. They will try to go to Russia to persuade the Russians. The Russians will say no. They're going to say, we're going to fight with our black brothers in Africa, our Muslim brothers. We're going to fight along with them against you. Because your reign of power of all these decades of evil is finished. I'm going to fight in unison with them against you. When this emissary who's over to the left comes back to the Sultan, he's going to tell the Sultan, we have the Russians behind us. And the other part of this is that the Persians will not side with us. The Persians will go along with the Jews and the Christians against us because they do that already. That's nothing new. They do this already. So we will take care of them once and for all as well, because they're not going to change. So when we see this, when this Sultan will arrive, we'll see that he will have an assured council of all types of nationalities. Muslims will be there from the subcontinent. They'll be from other parts of Africa. They'll come out from Europe. They'll even come maybe from the United States. Talking about Muslims, they will be there to help to guide this Sultan under the Waha wa Braha. Because when he comes to fight, he's going to say, I'm fighting you on behalf of what happened in the past. I'm fighting you according to the Sharia Allah. I'm fighting according to the instructions of the Nabi alayhi salam. And all of these who are around the world, the Indonesians, the Malaysians, the Japanese, all of these places will have a large Muslim population, which we already know. The large population of Muslims is in Indonesia. We know that. Malaysia is big. All of these Muslims will now be galvanized under one sultan. And he's not coming out of Asia. He's coming out of Africa. That's why I said that this army, brothers and sisters, that will come will be untouchable. Under Wallaha wa Baraha. It'll be untouchable. The isolation of Western Europe and the Americans, and probably the Canadians, they'll be surrounded. And they'll be in dire straits. And all of the suffering that our African ancestors endured from the 1400s to the present will will be revenged, but not under some blind hatred. It'd be under the instructions of Subhan Watala, because of the spread of Islam, not as a way to just kill disbelievers for the love of it. No, this because of what has happened, all the meddling, all the wars causing by the Western powers. They will be fought now. Once, before this be one of the biggest battles, which they'll lose, and then they'll regroup. And when the Mahdi come, then this will be the final battle. And this is what I firmly believe. I give you some of my insights into this, how this fits with the Waha wa Baraha. I'll say this, and then I will close. You say, well, okay, Yahya, we're looking at Iran today. Yes, I'm giving you guys on how to understand them. I'm telling you, stand back, stand fast, hope that they kick their butts. That's where your allegiance per se will be. That you will not do anything that would take you away from the Sunnah of the Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. Because this is going to end one day, and they will go back into unison with the Jews and with the Americans and the British and the other disbelievers to fight against the Sunnah. This Sultan knows that, and he's going to deal with them in the process. And when the Shia will now have no place to turn, because Turkey will be under the Sultan. They cannot travel north because the Russians and our brothers up to the north will cut them off. They will not have no place to go. If they try to gain to the east, our Asian brothers, Muslim brothers of Japan, China, China's not going to be the way you know it today. It'll be different. And our Malaysian brothers, Indonesian brothers, and our Thai brothers, and all that the Asian corridor, everything will be cut off. You can see this if you look at a map, what I'm talking about. The Americans and Western Europeans will be isolated. In South America, they will not be forced to come to Islam, but they will now look at this time as retribution for what has happened to them for many decades and centuries as well, how they were mistreated. So they will give their assistance as they have growing Muslim populations themselves, especially Brazil. So the Western Europeans and Americans won't have too much, they have no much leeway, no places to hide and go. They'll be cut off. Because when this Sultan gives the order, it's going to be lights out, brothers. This Jaish will be so powerful, it'd be in the millions. It'd just be overwhelming, because you'll have every nationality from the subcontinent, from the South Pacific. You'll have from Northern Europe, you have our Russian brothers and our Japanese brothers. They will be cutting off the corridors, so Europe will have no way to turn. They'll be isolated. The Russians have had enough of Western Europe and Americans. They have enough of them. We see that already. It's not going to take much for them to join forces with their black brothers. Because they're already at odds with them. That's why you heard the term by the Europeans and Americans call them many times Black Russians. Why do you think they call that? It's not necessarily that their skin color is black. It's because they look at them as not as really as white men, as Tubab. They're Tubab, but they don't look at them as Tubab. In order to make the distinction, they call them Black Russians, because their MO is quite different in many regards. Russia did not colonize nobody in Africa. I'm giving you all this for food of thought, brothers and sisters, for you to go back and do your research and for you to think about what your elder has said today. This is going to be a great war under the Waha wa Baraha. and we will be the victors. But as I said to you before, I don't know what's going to happen with the Sultan. He's not going to be killed in battle, nothing like that. He's going to die. And something's going to happen where the Muslims will become weak again. And then as the Americans and Western Europe start to regroup, and they'll start to cause havoc as they are doing today, they'll go back to their old tricks again. The Mahdi will come and he will finish them off. Because they are side with the Antichrist. We know them as the Dajjal. They will side, the Jews will side with him. The Americans, the Western Europeans will side with the Antichrist, you know him in English, against the Muslimin. They will help them to kill Muslimin. And then, you know, under our beliefs, as taught to us by our Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, he told us that Isa, Jesus alayhi salatu wasalam, will descend from the heavens and he will slay the Antichrist. We know that. We believe that. And what's going to happen after the great battle, there will be a big prayer of the Muslims. Isa, or Jesus, as you know him in English, he will be the hero of the battle. When he walk up to the Mahdi, out of politeness and love for his brother, knowing him to be a Nabi, he will say to him, we will let you be the Imam. But Isa will say, as our prophets taught us, he will say, no, we want you be the Imam Mahdi. We want you to be Imam. I will pray behind you. This is beautiful, brothers and sisters. I'm giving you all the aspects of the Waha from what's going to happen now to in the future, according to this. I don't have any special raid. I have none of that. I'm just giving you some thoughts of what I'm thinking. But I firmly believe this is going to happen. And when he takes over the show, brothers and sisters, I'm going to tell you right now, the weak leadership we see today, these guys won't be in power anymore. And their cronies, they'll be gone. Either they'll go live among disbelievers or they'll be killed. Because he's not going to play around. Because he's going to strengthen Africa and bring Africa under the Islamic belt. By this time now, as Islam is already starting to be predominant through Africa, it's not going to take much. And when the others see the power behind this Sultan, the Indonesians, the Vietnamese, the Thai, the Japanese, the Eastern Europeans, all will fall under the Sultan and their military prowess. The Muslim militaries will fall under his command. And it's going to be a bloody war, and we will be the victors of it. The American influence, as we know it, will be so weak at this time now anyway, that they will not be able to do the things they have been doing for centuries now, since the 1400s. They won't have a power like this again, but they'll start to create evil. Something's going to happen with the Sultan, and then the Mahdi will come and he finish them off. Because their last great evil will be they will side with the Antichrist. You know him in English. We know him as the Dajjal. They will side with them. The Jews will also side with the Antichrist. They will side with him. So when this big battle comes, the Muslims will finally defeat them. And Jesus ﷺ will come down, Subhan Watala, order him to come down from the heavens, and he will come down and slay. He's going to fight the Dajjal because he's going to cause a lot of havoc. He's going to kill a lot. But Jesus ﷺ will kill him. And that will end the battle. The Christians, as we know it today, will be gone. The Western powers will be gone. It'll be over for them. And I know this won't be in my lifetime. I would give anything to be at the final prayer of this final big prayer here and seeing Jesus Salam there, seeing the Mahdi being the Imam, and seeing all of our predecessors in Salat, from Indonesia, from Malaysia, from Russia, from Afghanistan, from Pakistan. All these corridors, all participated in this battle, will come together in a prayer. I wish I could see that. I can feel and hear in the heavens open up at this prayer. It'd be so powerful. I know it won't happen in my lifetime, but I wish I could be there for that. And my great predecessor who will come, our Muslim brother, I wish I could see him and I would make bay'ah to him, because he'll be a man of Subhan Watala. He will be a strong, devout Muslim. And I would give my bay'ah, meaning my pledge to him, even though I may be an old man, but I will still make my pledge to him if he comes in my lifetime. And at this time, there will be no wicked courts of the West to persecute the Muslims who side with other Muslim rulers. Because this one, it'll be a different situation. This is not going to be some simple matter. This is going to be a serious matter. Now you will have millions upon millions of Muslims who will be fighting. They will not be able to touch and hurt any more Muslims again. So their courts and their security apparatuses will be null and void. And when he comes and takes over, he's going to be in business. And when his assured council will be sitting behind him, you see Russians sitting at his table. You'll see the Indians and the Pakistani, the subcontinent. You'll see the Indonesian brothers and Malaysian brothers and the Asian brothers from Thailand, others sitting at this table. You see even American Muslims sitting at this table to give him advice. This is going to be a beautiful thing, brothers and sisters. It's going to be a beautiful thing. And our brother, our brother here, I got something wrong here. I got something here. Did something happen? I wanted to get something was said here. Okay. Your commentary and press. Thank you very much, my dear brother. Thank you for that, because this is kind of a solemn talk, because it talks about something. Yeah, I mean, Yarab. This is something that we have to talk about, because this is a situation that's serious business. Because the Waha Wabraha will be an object of war, and there's going to be a lot of killing of it and because of it. And so there's something that anytime death has been initiated by Muslims is a serious matter, as you know. We have to be in the right when we kill. And we just can't kill just to kill somebody. We have to have the legal standpoint, and this is why his assured counsel, like those who sit behind him, will give him the right guidance under the Quran and Sunnah, because this is the way it is under Islam. The ruler is not just, he's all encompassing. He has an assured counsel of scholars, of learned men, students of knowledge, wise men, elders who will help to guide him so he can make the right decision. This is what we believe in Islam. And he will have that. And that thing that he will have will give him the impetus, because once he knows that all the corridors of the world is closed off, and the Americans and the Western Europeans are closed off, that's when he's going to order the attack, and it's going to be over. And all of us who have suffered from racism, all of us who suffered from genocidal racist notions, all of us who suffered even on the continent because the wicked Tubab are here, during their evil and wickedness in the land, changing Subhan Allahs' word. Our brother here is going to kick their ass. And I believe that. So, with that said, brothers and sisters, I hope that you subscribe to my station, and those who don't like this, I know you may unsubscribe. That's understandable, because today you don't have talks like this much. But I have to give you this version of the Waha and give you some future aspects that could happen. But we don't know the future because none of us had this rate, as we call this. I don't have that. I'm just giving you my thoughts that could happen. And I have always say, you hear me say, BF with his permission, okay? With his permission, to, you know, inshallah, if he wills this, if Subhanahu wa ta'ala wills this, you know, so we have to look at it from that. And Subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, Allah alam, Subhanahu wa ta'ala knows, he knows best of all things. So I have to always say that, because I do not know if this will happen, but everything is leading to this in my heart. And this is why I cling now so desperately to learning about my ancestors of the past, learning how they operated, and why I concentrate on their Islam and how pious they were. I'm concentrating light on that. You don't see that because I'm here, you know, you don't, because I only talk a little bit here and there, but I'm concentrating a lot on them because there's something to that. And why I'm so proud to be a black man, a Sudani. We know this in Arabic language. And I'm so proud to be a Fulani and Muslim. I'm proud of that. And I'm proud of my ancestral roots. Our Fulani scholarship from the 700s to the early 1900s. I'm proud of those brothers, my ancestral brothers. So I take it upon myself to learn them, to learn about them, and to pray for them. And you should do the same thing, Muslims everywhere. Because coming from the loins of one of us, one of our brothers somewhere is going to be him. Somebody's going to produce this man. One of us is going to produce him. One of us will be the grandfather or whatever to him, or the great-great-grandfather. We do not know if this situation when he's going to come. See, we don't know. So I give my attention to learning about the Messina, about the great Pulo, and about all of the other Fulani sultanates that occurred and whatnot. And I give reference to that. I study intensely the 5 great sultanates of Al-Maghrib. You say, why? Because you look at Al-Maghrib today, you see light-skinned people. Don't let, I've told you about this before, don't get that confused. You better look at the sultanates and where they came from. They didn't come from Europe. That's another story. I haven't reached to the north yet to talk. I talked about Takrir. I already talked about that. I talked about the Amazigh, the Tuareg, and about the Fulani and that mixture that happened, and they got together. You see, brothers and sisters, when even small portions, when they got together, they became very powerful to the point they went in and kicked butt in Spain, right? Just enough of them. When the Muslims are united, we're untouchable. So I study the sultanates here in Al-Maghrib as well. And I look to see the locations where they come from. We know they come from the south. We know that. See, this is what is very interesting, isn't it? They come from the south, and they're predominantly black. And we know that because we have Portuguese who drew many pictures of the sultans here in Al-Maghrib, and many of them look like me. I mean, almost exactly. So we know that many of the sultanates were black, primarily black. We know that. because we have enough eyewitness accounts from the British as well as the French talking about the sultanates. We have one mural drawn by the Portuguese to show the Retribution, and it showed Abu Bakr Omar, okay, Rahim Allah, him as jet black in color. The Portuguese were good at drawings. They saw something, they drew it as it was. They didn't sugarcoat it. Now, of course, everything's changed. They've whitened everything. But this picture that was drawn by one French painter who came and witnessed the Retribution. He saw Abu Bakr Omar, so he made, because they don't have no cameras, they didn't have the iPhone those days, yo. So he drew pictures of them and he painted them, and he was jet black in color. See, remember what he said when he first encountered the brothers from Africa. He said they were black. One was blacker than the other. When they came from Maghreb or Morocco to fight in Spain, he said one was blacker than the other. You do your research. If you saw my class, I gave you the indication about that. So, brothers and sisters, you heard me talk today, and those coming late, please review this. In my take on the Waha wa Braha, we're looking for rough waters. This is the precursor what's happening in Iran today. This is why it's hit me tremendously. And now many of the students of knowledge and scholars and other educated and intellectuals, we're looking back at what the Nabi had said. And it's scary because he's given us the predictions going to the end times. You talk about that. There's something that he said about this war that will come. So he's given us another guide to tell us the end times is nearing. He's already told us that the Bedouin of the desert will build the tallest buildings. That's the UAE. He's already gave us that. See, we know he gave us now about the war. It's coming now. The Bedouins of the desert in Jazira Arab built the tallest buildings. Our prophet told this one of the signs. Now we have this war coming down. This is scary. So you start to prepare yourself, brothers and sisters. Get your Islam straight. Worship as he worshiped. Don't follow the disbelievers. The command of Subhan Allahs says, do not take the disbelievers, the Americans or the British or whomever, as friends and protectors. They will send you to the fire. There's no command that tells you that. In Surah 49, which is Surah Hujurat, verse 6, Subhan Allahs tells you when this wicked man comes to you to give you some news about a strong, devout Muslim, don't take his word. You go investigate that. When he comes to you and tell you that Yahya is robbing the people over here, Yahya is attacking the woman on the street over here, Yahya is breaking into people's homes, Yahya is stealing and making fraud against the people. You will look at this man and you will know what Subhanahu wa ta'ala said about this man, and you go investigate it. You don't act. So when you see him, you kill him. Or when you see this man, you do this to him. Now you'll have the basis because you'll understand your religion. You look at him and you say, well, look, I don't go by what you say. Where's this man at now? Let me go investigate that. They don't want that. They want you to go only on his word, which people are doing today. I told you what happened this morning. The guy said, it was incredible. I said to him, I said, why did the police let me go to the masjid and then come home and go and get bread for my family? Because I like to go get bread, fresh bread, beautiful bread. Here we have, delicious. Especially you smell it in the morning, the unleavened bread, you smell it. And the smell can lead you to the place. But we have a bakery very close here. I go over and get bread. I love it. I love the bread from there. So how they'll let me walk across after I've been robbing people? How? See, this is what we're talking about. How? It's not going to happen. See, so this is what I'm talking about. And again, I seen the Tubab on a bicycle, motorbike. He's always running, but he never faces me. Yeah, but I know he's there. I see him. But we have rules. I can't go engage them just because I know what they're doing. We know what they're doing. He comes to attack me as different. I'm out here in front of my yard. I'm watering everything. I see them out there. I don't touch them. I don't speak to them either. But if they come over after me, now I have commission. Now I can go fight them. But I'm doing my thing. He walks about. Let him talk. He can say whatever he wants. I don't care. He think whatever he wants. But he comes to put his hands on me, or he comes to threaten me, that's this different situation. Now, because I'm a Muslim, he is not. Even though he say he is, he's not a Muslim. So he has different rules. He goes by the American government system, okay, which is contrary to the Sharia law. I have to follow the Sharia law. I must leave him alone. Even though I see him, I know what he's doing. I know what the mischief he's creating, even against me. But I let them, I see them in the masjid. I let them go. But when they hit me, see, like they do sometimes in the masjid, now it's a different situation. Because they attack me in the masjid because that's the place where they can duly do it. And then they have people around them to lie for them. But if I'm standing out here in front of my yard and he comes over here now, he comes and hits me, or he comes to threaten me, now I can fight them back. But if other than that, I see them over there, I just let them go. I don't speak to them. I ignore them. I just let them go about their business, because that's what we're supposed to do. We have no right or authority to do anything against them. But when they come after you and your family and they come to face you, now you have no other choice. You got to deal with him. Like Malcolm said. He said, when he put your hands on you, make sure he doesn't put his hands on anybody else again. That's what Malcolm said. Remember? See? So, okay, brothers and sisters, that's enough for the day. And hopefully, inshallah, I'll have another talk. Follow my videos, and I have some short videos as well, pictorials and stuff like that of my ancestry about the Fulani empires and so forth, the sultanates. Please follow that. And if they're short, sometimes 20 seconds, 30 seconds, something like that, but it gives you a good insight into that. But this today was a special talk. I had to talk about it because we have the Russian, we have the Americans, and the Americans are involved, and the Jews, the Israelis fighting against Iran. And that's a serious, serious issue that all the students of knowledge and the scholars, we're taking concern about it, because it's giving us another vehicle telling us that the end times is coming because of this war. And it's giving us another indication that our prophet ﷺ was correct in what he said. And you should investigate that. It's scary. 1400 years ago, he was giving us all the guidance about everything was going to happen, and everything's starting to pop up. The Bedouins building the tallest buildings, the al-Harsh of killing, ruthless killings all over the place. We're starting to see that. He predicted all of that. He said that the Muslims will begin to imitate the Jews and the Christians. We have that today. All of the stuff that he started talking about is coming to fruition. It's scary. And it gives you strength in your faith as a Muslim that we have the right, the best of human beings, which is Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. He was the best of Muslims. He was the best of human beings. So with that said, Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.